First up, this is going to be Miles Blakely. Blakely out of Urbana, Illinois. He'll be in the JT Muffler lane. That's a 78 Malibu. Big block Chevy power under the hood alongside Travis East, the Beast, out of Casey, Illinois. 88 Mustang over there. East Automotive, the sponsor. 302 Ford power under the hood. Better light for East as they head down track. Blakely gets there first, though, with a 689. 689 at 99. For East, it's an 816. 816 at 82. Short little burnout there for Mike Spence. Humboldt, Illinois, the home base. Looks like Mike will be making a single here as some fluid out of the front end of the Rhonda Myers vehicle. Spence into 57 Chevy, the former Wizard and Woovie car. It is for sale. Spence off and running, and at the stripe, it's going to be a 712. 712 at 96. All right, looks like our cleanup is complete, and our next pair getting set to back into the water box right now. Oh, yeah. JT Muffler side of the track, 75 Pontiac Ventura. Driven by Eddie Northcraft, Sullivan, Illinois. He's paired up alongside Ron Veach. Veach in the 63 Nova wagon, small block Chevy power. He's in the Cedar City motor side. As they head down track, Northcraft will get to the finish line first. Northcraft with a 764. 764 at 86. 828 for Veach. 828 for Veach at 81 miles an hour. Next up, here's Eric Rayburn. Rayburn Tower side from Fisher, Illinois. The Oldsmobile Cutlass pairs up alongside Max Lang. The 40 Willys Coupe. Congratulations, Max and Patty, on 50 years of wedded bliss. Away they go. Lang goes red, doesn't matter. He gets to the finish line with a 644. 644 at 105 for Max Lang. Eric Rayburn with a 677. 677 at 100 miles per hour. Coming up now, the Monte Carlo SS over here. Matt something. I don't know. It's a bunch of gibberish. Anyway, alongside Brad Talbert. At the finish line, Talbert pit side with a 726. 726 at 94. The Monte Carlo 832. 832 at 81. Clayton Patrick and Kim Niemeyer, your next pair, getting set to stage. Ford Chevy matchup here. As Patrick from Mattoon, he's in the Camaro. JT Muffler side of the track. Cedar City Motors lane, that's Kim Niemeyer from Humboldt. 97 Mustang. So these two rolled off the showroom floor about the same time. And here they match up. Super Pro to the lanes. Super Pro to the lanes. Kim Niemeyer with a 653. 6:53 at 105. Clayton Patrick 7:77. 7:77 at 87. This is going to be Daniel Johnson. Johnson up on the green Kawasaki out of Peoria Heights, Illinois. He's in the Tower Lane. Pit side, that's Jesse Brandt. Brandt in that 87 Oldsmobile. Daniel Johnson with a 6:34. 6:34 at 112. Jesse Brandt 7:95. 7:95 at 85 miles per hour.
Hey, Rod.
Terry Willard will be making the single. Tower side.
Can you go to that Monte Carlo next to Sarah Cassidy and just ask him what his last name is? We can't read the card.
Willard out of Mattoon, Illinois. The Oldsmobile 442 is parked right now. He's driving Jay Brown's Camaro. How about a 000 light? 5-0 Buffalo. 5 free Buffalo wings from Buffalo Wild Wings for that perfect light. 7:25. 7:25 at 91 for Terry Willard. Tom Harlan coming up. The hitman, Tommy Harlan, also celebrating a wedding anniversary here today. Congratulations, Tom and Dawn. Good looking launch there for the Camaro. Away he goes, 6:54. 6:54 at 102. For Tommy Harlan. It's like Rhonda Myers is going to bring out the Barracuda here. And we'd like to welcome Rhonda's mom, Rosa May. Rosa May coming out to the drag strip here today. 80 years young, out to watch Rhonda and her brother, Kevin Billingsley, on his Kawasaki. So welcome, Rosa May, to Coles County Dragway USA. Rhonda looks pretty comfortable in the car, but it is a new ride for them. They just picked this up about 3 weeks ago now. Went down to South Carolina and picked up the Barracuda. Still sorting out everything with it. At the finish line, Rhonda Myers with a 6:61. 6:61 at 105. Sportsman cars, lanes 7 and 8. Sportsman, lanes 7 and 8. Super Pro, if you're not in the lanes, this is your final call. Super Pro, if you're not in the lanes, this is your final call. High School, lanes 3 and 4. High School, lanes 3 and 4. Motorcycles coming at you right now. Let's start out with Troy Russell out of Decatur, Illinois. His 94 Kawasaki, Sean out in front of the bike there. Finding the stickiest spot for Troy to line up his motorbike. alongside Aaron Klein. Klein from Mattoon, Illinois, up on a 2000 Suzuki. Troy hustles down track to a 6:03. 6:03 for Troy Russell at 1:13. Aaron Klein with a 7:72 at 1:04. Brandon Carell, Kenny Walker pairing up now. Carell, Tower Side out of Shumway, Illinois. The stretched out bike there, that is a Suzuki GS 1100 alongside the 77 Kawasaki for Kenny Walker out of Kansas, Illinois. Walker gets to the stripe first, 6:48 at 1:07. Carell with a 5:76 at 1:20. Brian Davis and Shane Nance coming up now. Davis up on the Hayabusa out of Whiteheath, Illinois. Nance from Springfield on his 96 Honda 900. Some troubles there for Nance. Brian Davis, nice straight as a string pass for him. 597 at 110. Shane Nance, 882 at 91. Coming up now, this is going to be Eric Cooper and Daniel Johnson. Cooper out of Martinsville, Illinois on his 79 Kawasaki. Johnson running two classes here today. Peoria Heights, Illinois, the home base for the 09 Kawasaki. Super Pro, final call. Super Pro, final call. Sportsman, lanes 7 and 8. Sportsman, 7 and 8. High School, lanes 3 and 4. At the finish line, they're side by side. Johnson crossing first, 6:35 at 1:09. Eric Cooper, 6:49 at 1:06. Coming up now, this is going to be Super Pro for their first time session of the day. Backing up from the burnout, first car out of the water box, Troy Salazar, Shelbyville, Illinois, the Bad Dog Racing 2000 Race Tech Dragster. Big block Chevy power behind the driver. He'll line up alongside Donnie Davis. Dino over here out of Charleston, Illinois, 68 Nova. Donnie a little late off the starting line, doesn't matter right now. Troy Salazar, 564 at 122. Donnie Davis, 632 at 108. Hard out of the water box the Camaro backing up the Wild Thing Racing entry, Tom Jameson, Urbana, Illinois. Put some wild-looking graphics on the car over the winter. Pairs up alongside Chad Lance, that beautiful 33 Willys over there, out of Gibson City, Illinois. Sportsman cars, lanes 7 and 8. High school 3 and 4. High school 3 and 4. Jamison a little out of the groove, gathers it up, 565. 565 at 120. Chad Lance, 584. 584 at 116. Brad Talbert, hot lapping it back up here so he can run Super Pro as well as Pro.
There is no novice and no juniors, correct?
His 81 Chevy Malibu, 350 power under the hood. Pairs up alongside Bobby Paul, the King Rat himself out of Westfield, Illinois. 82 Chevy S10, the old farm truck over there. Multi-time track champion. At the finish line, Talbert with a 731. 731 at 93. Bobby Paul with a 743. 743 at 92. So coming into frame there, that is Zach Papp. That's Tim Papp. Sorry, got that messed up. That's Tim Papp. Backing up right now from his burnout. Heating up the Hoosiers there. American Racing Dragster. 572 cubic inch big block behind him. Capable 4-second runner. Got a 495 on his dial-in board there. Some last-minute checks there in the cockpit before he gets set to head down the JT muffler lane. Straight as a string, 482. 482 at 141 for Tim Papp. So the little Bob Cheney built dragster over there in the pit lane. 377 small block supercharged behind the driver. That is Joe Coleman. The Oh Yeah car. Joe Coleman out of Pana, Illinois. 2000 vintage Bob Cheney rear engine dragster. Supercharged small block back there. Shift it. Shift it. Yeah, I said that. 616. 616 at 98 miles an hour. So, sitting in the water box right now, your current track record holder in motorcycles, with a 478. 478. Here's the time slip over here. We'll take a look at it. 478 with a 7 at 144. Track record holder Kevin Billingsley out of Clay City, Illinois. Conditions are right. He may top that here today. Mom in attendance out here to check things out. So easing his way back up to the starting line, Kevin Billingsley out of Clay City, Illinois. Current track record holder trying to top his 478. Gets out there in the gray and clicks it off wisely. Still coasts through to a 7:19. 7:19 at 67 miles per hour. Sportsman cars coming around the bend right now. Any high schoolers out there? Lanes 3 and 4. High school lanes 3 and 4. Here we go with Sportsman. Rodney Matthews out of Pana, Illinois. 75 Triumph TR7. Pairs up alongside Aaron Enlow out of Lerna, Illinois, in his Dodge Dakota pickup. Little Bumblebee car is going to get there first. 9:06. 9:06 at 74. Aaron Enlow, 10:16. 10:16 at 67. Here's Dan Good out of Tolono, Illinois. 87 Corvette. Bunch of Corvettes up his way this weekend as Bloomington Gold Show moved to Champaign this year. Down track, that's Terry Adams. Adams in the 93 Pontiac Firebird. Not sure what was going on there exactly. 9:47. 9:47 at 56 for Adams. 9:61 for Good. 9:61 for Good in the Corvette at 72. All the way from somewhere in Florida, I forget, Destin, something like that. Katie Beeson. Katie B over here tower side in her Camaro, alongside Andy Ruff in the Rumblebee pickup truck. Ruff out of Hinesboro, Illinois. Off they go. Looks like the pickup truck might get there first. Pretty close at the finish line. Andy Ruff crosses first, 8:89. 8:89 at 77. 8:80 for Beeson. 8:80 for Beeson at 82. Father and son paired up here side by side. Ron Veach Sr. tower side, the Pontiac Solstice. Ron Veach Jr. pit side in the 63 Nova wagon. Both of them out of Charleston, Illinois. Junior gets to the finish line first. Ron Veach with a 8:25. 8:25 at 81. Ron Veach Sr. 8:47. 8:47 at 81. Robert Soper. Soper in the Camaro. Z28 out of Mattoon, Illinois. He's in the JT Muffler lane alongside Sarah Cassidy, the dancing machine. Pit side out of Mattoon. Her big block powered 79 Camaro. Sarah down track. She's going to get there right now. Sarah Cassidy with an 8:05. 8:05 at 82. For Robert Soper, 10:32. 10:32 at 65. Here's Scott Pickens. Pickens out of Marshall, Illinois. The Monte Carlo SS will make the single. High school to lanes 3 and 4. High school lanes 3 and 4. Scott Pickens, 849. 849 at 79. Clayton Patrick, the Camaro, white with the orange rally stripes, tower side, alongside the black Firebird of Leah Othout. The Lakeland Automotive, Scott's Shop, Central Illinois Transmission sponsors entry. At the stripe, Clayton Patrick with a 780. 780. 87 for the speed. Leah Othout with an 884. 884 at 77. So Eddie Cook over here tower side out of Thomasboro, Illinois. Guess that answered that. Out the back door to a 508. 508 at 136 for Eddie Cook. Pro dial for bucks. Pro dial for bucks to lanes 5 and 6. Pro dial for bucks to lanes 5 and 6. All other pro cars to lanes 7 and 8. Pro dial for bucks, lanes 5 and 6. All other pro cars, lanes 7 and 8. Dan Good off and running here in the high school category, 960. 960 at 72. See you. All right, we're going to start out with dial for bucks, and it looks like two people taking a shot at it. First up, it's going to be Tommy Harlan. He's got a 653 on the window. Runner out of Mattoon, Illinois in his 77 Camaro. Off he goes. Said he's going 653, and how about a 652 with a 7? Pretty close. 3 thou off, 652 with a 7 at 102. Who's the other one? Ron. So Ron Veach going to take a shot at it as well. Ron Veach Jr. over there in the 63 Nova wagon. He predicts an 825 in his future. I believe it ran an 825 on his first time pass. How about an 823 with a 5? 823 with a 5 for Ron Veach. Pair of Malibus matching up here. The 81 Malibu tower side, that's Brad Talbert. Talbert out of Mattoon. Talbert tinting and detailing his primary sponsor alongside Miles Blakely from Urbana, Illinois in his 78 Malibu. Blakely hustles to the big end with a 687 at 99. Talbert 726 at 94. A little cleanup there on the starting line. Here's Clayton Patrick. Patrick out of Mattoon, the Camaro. Z28 Tower Side. Alongside Travis East in the Mustang. The Beast out of Casey, Illinois. He's in the Cedar City Motors lane. Motorcycles to lane 9. Motorcycles, lane 9. Clayton Patrick will get to the finish line first. 779 for Patrick. 818 for East. 818 at 82 for East. Max Lang and Daniel Johnson pair up now. Lang in the purple Willys coupe. The Hall of Famer Tower Side lines up alongside Daniel Johnson from Peoria Heights, Illinois, behind the handlebars of his Kawasaki. Down track they go, a little wiggle there for Johnson, but he turns on the wind light. 613 at 113 for Johnson. Max Lang with a 644 at 106 for Max Lang. Rhonda Myers and Mike Spence coming up now. A pair of classic race cars, the 67 Barracuda out of Ramsey, Illinois. Mom is here checking things out for Rhonda and for Kevin Billingsley. Mike Spence, Humboldt, Illinois. The high flying 57. A little better pass for Rhonda this time around. 659 at 106. Mike Spence with a 707 at 96 miles an hour. Cassie Edwards Wilson. She's in the silver Camaro, pulling up towards the stage beam here in the JT Muffler lane. Matt Duvall, Olney, Illinois, pit side in the 84 Monte Carlo. So Cassie and Matt off and running. When you get home, you can watch it online. 827 for Duvall, 827 at 81 for Cassie, 840 at 84. So how's life in Florida? Kim Niemeyer and Eddie Northcraft pulling up now. Niemeyer, the 97 Mustang, Northcraft in a 75 Pontiac Ventura as they head down track. Good looking pass there for Niemeyer. 651 at 105. Northcraft with a 767 at 86. Eric Rayburn, Fisher, Illinois, the 69 Olds Cutlass. He'll be making the single here, JT Muffler side. Eric Rayburn will shut off the timers to a 677 at 100 miles per hour. Sportsman car, is this still pro? I'm sorry, I was ahead of myself a little bit. Pro cars coming up here, and it is your final pair coming up, Jesse Brandt and Terry Willard. Willard heads down track. He'll get to the finish line first. Terry Willard with a 726 at 91. Jesse Brandt with a 790 at 86. Motorcycles coming up now. This is Eric Cooper and Troy Russell. Talking with Troy a little bit ago. He's been trying to chase a place to race all year long. Keeps getting weathered out, but hopefully we'll get one in here for him today. Eric Cooper, in the meantime, Towerside, Martinsville, Illinois, 79 Kawasaki. Troy Russell's up on a 94 Kawasaki. Russell will get to the finish line with a 6:01 at 1:13. All right, we appreciate your patience as we had to wait out a little weather delay there. We are back to action with motorcycles. This is the second timer in session for the motorcycles. It's going to be Daniel Johnson. That's the green motorcycle closest to me in the tower out of Peoria Heights, Illinois, alongside Shane Nance. Nance from Springfield, Illinois, up on the blue Honda 900. All right, so got to turn the tree back on. We got that done. Here we go, Daniel Johnson and Shane Nance. Johnson hustles down track to a 6:22 at 1:12. Shane Nance with a 7:33 at 1:01. Chad Isley up now, Tower Side, Charleston, Illinois, behind the handlebars of his Suzuki, alongside Kenny Walker. Walker out of Kansas, Illinois, pit side on the Kawasaki. Super Pro, you should be in the lanes. Super Pro, you should be in the lanes. Sportsman to 7 and 8. Sportsman 7 and 8. So Isley clicks it off a little bit early. He'll coast through to a 7:53 at 80 miles an hour. In the meantime, Kenny Walker 6:34 at 1:08. Next up, pulling up here on the left side, JT Muffler Lane, that's Brian Davis of Whiteheath, Illinois. At the controls of the Hayabusa, alongside Brandon Carell, the freak out of Shumway, Illinois, on his 2000 Suzuki GS 1100. So it sounds like a missed shift about 300 feet out there for Davis. 579 for Davis Tower side at 113. 570 at 120 for Carell. Byron coming up here for Aaron Klein. Aaron Klein out of Mattoon, Illinois. Super Pro, final call. Super Pro, final call. Aaron Klein from Mattoon, Illinois on his Suzuki. 748 at 99 miles per hour. Super Pro coming at you now. Dial for bucks coming up. Tommy Harlan. And it looks like at this point he is the only person entered. 652 on his windshield there. Tommy Harlan, the Hitman, multi-time pro category champion here at Coles County. The high-flying Camaro gets set to head down the JT Muffler Lane. Off he goes. And at the finish line, Harlan with a 6:54. 6:54 at 1:02. Sportsman cars 7 and 8. Sportsman 7 and 8. So backing up from his burnout right now, this is Tim Papp. Papp from Mattoon, Illinois, about a mile away from here at Papp Auto Body, alongside Brad Talbert. Talbert Tinting and Detailing entry, the Malibu pit side. Good looking pass for Papp. Another 480. It's a 484. 484 at 141 for Tim Papp. 484 at 141 for Brad Talbert. 728. 728 at 94. The dragster and the door slammer lining up on this time pass. JT Muffler Lane, the Wild Thing Racing entry out of Urbana, Illinois. That's Tom Jameson. All the wild graphics there on the Camaro. Alongside Troy Salazar, the Bad Dog Racing entry out of Shelbyville, Illinois. That's the long car pit side. At the finish line, Jameson gets there first, 5:63. 5:63 at 1:20. Salazar, 5:62. 5:62 at 1:23 for the dragster. Bobby Paul and Chad Lance up next. Bobby in the pickup truck, tower side this time around. The King Rat himself, Super Pro champion here at Coles County Dragway, alongside Chad Lance. Lance from Gibson City, Illinois, in that 33 Willys Coupe. And for Chad Lance, how about a 586? 586 at 116 for Lance. Bob Paul, 743. 743 at 92. So a quick cleanup here on the starting line. Some rocks out there. Donnie Davis, Charleston, Illinois. He's in the Nova alongside Eric Cooper. Old Dino over here, tower side. That's a 68 Nova. Cooper on the motorbike. Davis goes 506 on the tree and a 625. 625 at 109 for Dino. For Eric Cooper, 643. 643 at 106.
Get that kid off the fence.
So here is, who is this? Oh, it's Walt Edwards. Duh, I should know that. Sorry, Walt, not paying attention. Chad Isley, pit side. At the stripe, Walt Edwards with a 568. 568 at 120. Chad Isley, 676. 676 at 104.
Can you add Clayton Patrick to Sportsman also? Add it to his pad. Clayton Patrick to Sportsman. Copy.
So backing up from their burnouts right now, this is going to be Fast Eddie Cook out of Thomasboro, Illinois, Ed and Cindy's entry. And he'll line up alongside Joe Coleman, the Oh Yeah car out of Pana, Illinois. Tower side, that's an undercover car. Pit side, Bob Cheney built that car. For Ed Cook, 5:08. 5:08 for Ed Cook. Joe Coleman, 5:40. 5:40 at 124. Sportsman waits on the apron right now. Getting set for their second time session of the day. So Dan Good and Sarah Cassidy pulling up to the starting line. Dan Good, the Corvette, out of Tolono, Illinois. It's an 87 Corvette. Sarah Cassidy, the dancing machine, getting her groove on inside the race car, installing a nice sound system in there. She says it's to help calm her down, but 760 for Sarah Cassidy, 760 at 90 miles an hour. For Dan Good, 947, 947 at 72. Back in the water box, it's Rodney Matthews and Terry Adams. Matthews, the black and yellow Triumph TR7. You don't see too many of these left anymore, but they were the thing back in the 70s. Terry Adams, his 93 Pontiac Firebird. So getting a little extra guidance right in the staging beams from Scotty. 865 for Adams. 865 for Adams at 79. Rodney Matthews, 899. 899 at 74. Ron Veach Sr. now. Pontiac Solstice. There's another rare piece for you. They didn't build very many of those, and especially in a hardtop. So certainly a collector's item here. His Solstice pairs up alongside the 97 Camaro of Clayton Patrick. Clayton Patrick, 777. 777 at 87. For Ron Veach, 848. 848 at 81. Scott Pickens and Bob Soper coming up now. Pickens, the Monte Carlo. Soper, the Camaro. And it looks like Scott Pickens gets to the finish line first. Scott Pickens with an 837. 837 at 80 miles an hour. Robert Soper with a 1004. 1004 at 67. Cassie Edwards-Wilson coming up now. Cassie in the Camaro. She'll be paired up alongside Andy Ruff. Ruff from Hinesboro, Illinois, in his 05 Dodge Hemi pickup truck, the Rumblebee. So Cassie by about a car length at the finish line, 841 at 84. Andy Ruff with an 865 at 77.
Let's get the pro cars up there.
Older than that. Aaron Enlow, pickup truck, pit side, 86. Excuse me, that's what the last person ran. Attention in the pit area. Attention in the pit area. We need cars to the lanes for first round. Aaron Enlow with a 10:09 at 68. There's Katie Beeson in her new Camaro. We need pro cars. Pro cars to lanes 5 and 6. Pro cars, lanes 5 and 6. Motorcycles, lane 9. Motorcycles, lane 9. Super Pro, lanes 1 and 2. Super Pro to lanes 1 and 2. Sportsman, 7 and 8. So Katie B with an 878 at 82. So once again, we need cars to the lanes for round number 1. Pro cars, 5 and 6. Pro cars, 5 and 6. Motorcycles, lane 9. Super Pro, 1 and 2. Super Pro, 1 and 2. Sportsman, 7 and 8. Sportsman, 7 and 8. Leah Othout, Ron Veach. Next up. For Ron Veach, it's an 823 at 82. Leah Othout with an 882 at 78. So once again, we need cars to the lanes for round 1. Pro cars, 5 and 6. Pro cars, 5 and 6. Motorcycles, lane 9. Motorcycles, lane 9. Super Pro, 1 and 2. Super Pro, 1 and 2. Dan Good with a 952 at 72. Sportsman, 7 and 8. Sportsman, 7 and 8. All right, firing them up, and here they come, getting set for round number 1 of Pro Eliminator. It'll be a Ford Chevy matchup right out of the box to start things out here in round 1. Mike Spence and Travis East. Spence in that 57 Chevy. East in the Mustang. As they pull forward, it'll be Mike Spence, JT Muffler Lane out of Humboldt, Illinois, dialed in at a 693. He'll give up a little over 2 bulbs head start to Travis East, the Beast, out of KZ, Illinois, in the Mustang. Red light start for East. It's over at the start. As the red eye catches East at the big end of the track, Spence with a 693 with a 4. That was the number he was looking for. 96 for the speed. East goes one off, 819 on his 818 at 82. Here's Eric Rayburn. Rayburn out of Fisher, Illinois, 69 Olds Cutlass. He's looking for a 677. His competition dialed in a 728 pit side. That's Brad Talbert. Talbert in the 81 Malibu. So head start for the primered car, pit side. Clean and green for both drivers. At the finish line, it's going to be Talbert taking the win, 731 on the 728, 89 for the speed. Eric Rayburn won off 678 on his 677. Better reaction time for Talbert. Here is Cassie Edwards-Wilson. Young lady out of Charleston, Illinois. 842 is her number. She's in a 99 Camaro. She's in the JT Muffler lane. Cedar City Motorcycle Track, that is Eddie Northcraft out of Sullivan, Illinois. 75 Pontiac Ventura. 767 the dial in. Another good start for both drivers. Advantage by just a touch for Cassie Edwards-Wilson. But Northcraft will pick up the win, 771 on the 767 at 84. For Cassie, she's 6 off, 848 on her 842. So she's 6 off, he's 4 off. That's closer, and that will get the round win. This is going to be Kim Niemeyer and Matt Duvall coming up now. Niemeyer, that's a 97 Mustang, 651 there on the windshield. Taking on Matt Duvall, the 84 Monte Carlo SS. Duvall out of Albany, Illinois. He's trying to go 828. Duvall off and running. Here comes Niemeyer giving chase. Niemeyer in trouble early. Can he make up the difference? No. Duvall runs the number dead on with a 3. 828 with a 3 on the 828. He runs dead on. Niemeyer won off 652 on the 651. He was a little bit tardy at the starting line as well. Quick cleanup on the starting line there as we get set to bring you your next pair. Looks like it's going to be Terry Willard and Ron Veach. Terry Willard, Tower Side, 1980 Camaro. He thinks he's going to go 725. His competition, 823, the dial in. So almost a full second or 2 bulb head start for Ron Veach. Veach in the 63 Nova wagon. He's based out of Charleston. And for Veach, it's a red light. Willard will move on to round 2. Willard with the automatic win. He runs the number. 725 with a 6 on the 725. And Veach also runs the number, 823 on his 823. But he goes 010 red here in round 1. Jesse Brandt, Rhonda Myers, your next pair. Brandt, the primered car, Tower Side, Mattoon, Illinois. He's trying to go 789 in his Olds Cutlass. The Barracuda for Rhonda Myers, 657 is her number. I think she accidentally deep staged there. And the red light gets her. Jesse Brandt will get the automatic win. Rhonda Myers drives it out the back door to a 686 at 105. But for Jesse Brandt, 790. 790 on the 789 at 86. Clayton Patrick coming up now. Patrick, Mattoon, Illinois, the home base for the LT1 Z28 Camaro. 778 is dial in. For Daniel Johnson, 614 the number for the green Ninja Kawasaki. Clayton down track. Here comes Daniel. Win light, Clayton Patrick, 784. 784 on the 778. For Daniel Johnson, off pace 627 on the 614 at 110. Tommy Harlan and Max Lang matching up now. The Hitman tower side alongside the Hall of Famer pit side. Harlan with a 653 dial, Lang with a 644. Wheels up for Harlan, but he pulls him out of the beams too soon. Red light start for Harlan. Max Lang gets the automatic win. 646 on the 644. Lang is your winner, 105 for the speed. 653 at 102 for Harlan, but the red eye gets him. Round one coming up for the motorcycles, and it's going to be Aaron Klein and Eric Cooper. First up, Aaron Klein, tower side, out of Mattoon, Illinois. It's a 2000 Suzuki. His competition on the 79 Kawasaki, that's Eric Cooper. Cooper pit side from Martinsville, Illinois. He's trying to go 644. Klein with a 749 dial in. Little too quick for Klein. He goes red. Eric Cooper will move on to round two. Eric Cooper with a 644.8 on his 644. Dead on with an 8 at 106. Klein breaks out by a bunch. He goes 733 on his 749 at 99 miles an hour. This is going to be Brian Davis and Chad Isley. Davis up on the Hayabusa. Chad Isley, he's on a Suzuki of his own. Davis out of Whiteheath, Illinois, 578 the dial. Isley from Charleston, trying to go 604. Isley's better at the start, and he'll hang on to take the win. 606. 606 on a 604 at 105. Isley, your winner. Davis goes 3 off, 581 on the 578 at 114. Coming up now, you see over on the pit side, Troy Russell. Sean out in front, finding the stickiest spot for Troy to line up. Get him right in the groove to head down track. Troy out of Decatur, Illinois, 602 the dial in. For Kenny Walker, Kansas, Illinois, the home base, tower side for him. His Kawasaki trying to go 634. Isley drives away from him, or Russell drives away from him, 606 on his 602, 106 for the speed. Russell, your winner. Walker off pace 680 on the 634. Shane Nance, Daniel Johnson. Both of them making the tow today to get down here. Nance from Springfield, Illinois. Daniel Johnson from Peoria Heights. Nance with a 730 dial in on his blue Honda. 614 the number on the green Kawasaki pit side for Johnson. And a red light for Shane Nance. Daniel Johnson picks up the win. 618 on his 614 at 112. The breakout over there, tower side, and a 710 at 102. Brandon Carell will get the bye run into the next round. Carell, the freak, out of Shumway, Illinois, on his stretched out Suzuki Bullet bike over there. Brandon Carell, 572. 572 on his 571 at 120. Carell will move on to round number 2. Round 1 coming up for Super Pro. They will be up next. So it's time for Super Pro round number 1. We'll start out with a dragster matchup here between Walt Edwards and Troy Salazar. Make sure he puts his neck brace on.
Hey, Greg. Petey. Walt hasn't got his neck brace on.
Making sure all the safety equipment in place here before we let him come out of the water box. First out, that's Troy Salazar. Salazar backing up from his burnout. The Black Magic car. This is Walt Edwards, tower side, 564. The dial in for the Cedar City Motor sponsored entry. For Troy Salazar, the Bad Dog Racing Mile to Wild Custom Fab entry. Red light start for Walt Edwards. Salazar picks up the win. He went red too, but Walt did it first. Salazar 597 on his 562 at 122. Walt was pretty close. He went 563 with a 9.9 on his 564. 1/10,000th from dead on, but the red light had already got him. Back to the starting line now with Tom Jamison and Bobby Paul. Jamison 563 the number for the Wild Thing Racing. For Bobby Paul, he's dialed in at a 742. Jamison with the red light. Paul moves on. 741 on his 742 for Bobby Paul. He breaks out, but it doesn't matter. The red lights start for Jamison, and he goes one off 564 on his 563 at 118. Here we go. Coming up now, this is Fred Hood. Fred Hood driving the 68 Nova. Donnie Davis in this car a couple weeks ago, formerly campaigned by Ron Veach. Bill Little had it first. 624 the dial in, taking on Chad Lance, the runner out of Gibson City, Illinois, with his 33 Willies. Another red light. This time it's going to be Fred Hood. Chad Lance with the automatic win, 583 on his 585. He's 2 under. But the red eye for Hood, 688 at 74 miles an hour. Pulling up now, the door slammer and the motorcycle. Talbert in the door slammer, that's an 81 Chevy Malibu. The Talbert tinting and detailing entry out of Mattoon, Illinois, with a 728 dial, taking on Eric Cooper. Cooper on the Kawasaki. He's trying to go 644. Both of them clean and green. Talbert goes 002 on the tree, and he'll be your winner. Talbert with a 729 on his 728 at 92. He's one off. Cooper was one off as well. 645 on the 644, but the better light for Talbert turns on the win light at the end. Don't forget, if you happen to go out here in round number 1, you can always go see Donna over at the tech booth and buy back into round number 2. Here's Tommy Harlan, the hitman out of Mattoon, Illinois. 77 Camaro pairs up alongside Chad Isley. Isley from Charleston, multi-time winner here at Coles County and everywhere else as well. Isley with a 604 dial. Harlan 653. Harlan goes red. Isley goes 002 on the tree. Isley moves on to round 2. 605 on his 604 at 113. For Harlan, red light start and a 652, 1 under. Sportsman cars on the apron right now. And we'll start it out with Dan Good. Good from Tolono, Illinois. His dial-in the Corvette is a 950. He's taking on Andy Ruff from Hinesboro, the Rumblebee pickup truck with an 865. Good way too early there as he gets the big red light. Andy Ruff gets the free pass into round 2. Andy Ruff with an 868 on his 865 at 77 miles an hour. For Dan Good, red light start, but a dead on 950 on his 950 at 72. This is going to be Rodney Matthews. Matthews from Pana, Illinois. 75 Triumph alongside Terry Adams. Another red light start. This time it's Rodney Matthews. Terry Adams going to be your automatic winner, 863 on the 865. Matthews with a 9 flat on the 899 at 74. Ron Veach and Aaron Enlow coming up now. Veach in the Pontiac Solstice. His 847 pairs up alongside Aaron Enlow's 1011. Red light for Enlow. Veach will move on. Veach hustles down to the big end, 860 on his 847. Aaron Enlow, 2 under, 1009 on the 1011 at 68. Scott Pickens and Sarah Cassidy coming up now. Pickens with an 836 dial in, that's the Monte Carlo SS. For Sarah Cassidy, the Dancing Machine pit side. Her Z28 dial to 754. As they head towards the finish line, Cassidy goes 756 on the 754 at 84 for Scott Pickens. In a losing effort, goes dead on 836 with a 9 on his 836 dial. This is Cassie Edwards Wilson and Robert Soper. Cassie, she's in the Camaro. She's trying to go 848 for Robert Soper, 10 flat the dial in pit side for the Camaro. Robert Soper off and running. Here comes Cassie. She's making up the ground. Can she get it done? Yep. Soper breaks out. He goes 990, a 10th under on his 10 flat dial. For Cassie, 850 on her 848. Here's Clayton Patrick and Katie Beeson. Camaro's a pair on the starting line. 97 Camaro for Patrick. And that would be about a 2013 Camaro. Pit side. She's trying to go 877. Clayton Patrick with a 778. Pro buybacks, lanes 7 and 8. Pro winners 5 and 6. Pro buybacks 7 and 8. Pro winners 5 and 6. Brad Talbert, you have the bye. Clayton Patrick for the win, 783 on the 778 at 83 miles an hour for KDB. 883 on her 877 at 82. Leah Othout and Ron Veach coming up next. Pro buybacks 7 and 8. Pro winners 5 and 6. Brad Talbert, you have the bye. Leah with an 880 dial. Veach with an 823. Leah down track. Here comes Veach. Leah takes the win. 880 with a 2. Dead on with a 2. Veach goes dead on with an 8. 823 with an 8 on the 823. Better light went to Leah Othout. She's your winner. This is your first and final round of the high school category. One competitor, Dan Good. He will take the green light and pick up the points here as your high school winner. Got a 950 on the window. Pro buybacks, 7 and 8. Pro buybacks, 7 and 8. Pro winners, 5 and 6. Pro winners, 5 and 6. For Dan Good, 951 on the 950, and he went 007 on the tree. Congratulations, Dan Good, your winner in the high school category. So everything in readiness, you hear. So this is round 2 of Pro. Coming at you now. Tom Harlan and Travis East, your first pair out. East was your no-box champion last year. Harlan, your pro champion here at Coles County. Here they match up in round 2. Harlan with a good-looking light, giving chase to East. At the stripe, it's going to be Harlan and East breaking out. The double breakout win going to Travis East. He goes 817 with a 6 on his 818. Harlan goes 651 with a 2 on his 652. So an 8th out breakout versus a 4th out breakout. Advantage going to Travis East on the double breakout. Kim Niemeyer and Ron Veach coming up now. Travis East won the last race on the double breakout. Kim Niemeyer and Ron Veach up next. 653 and 823 the dial-ins. Advantage Veach as they head down track. Out the back door for Niemeyer. He'll take the win, 655 on the 653. He's 2 off. Veach is 6 off, 829 on the 823 at 81. Next up, Cassie Edwards-Wilson out of Charleston, Illinois. Her 99 Camaro dialed in at an 847. She'll be taking on Daniel Johnson. The Johnson Racing Kawasaki. Johnson Racing Kawasaki out of Peoria Heights, Illinois with a 6:14 dial in. Another red light for Cassie. Daniel Johnson gets the automatic win. Johnson with a 6:08 on his 6:14. He breaks out. It doesn't matter. Cassie with an 8:53 at 83. Terry Willard and Matt Duvall coming up now. Willard and Jay Brown's Camaro. 7:25 his dial in for Duvall. 8:28 the number. So the 1 second plus head start for the Monte Carlo SS. Little too anxious, he goes red. Willard does too, but Duvall does it first. Excuse me. So for Willard, 7:25 with a 6 on his 7:26. He is your winner. Matt Duvall breaks out by 4, 8:24. 4 under on his 8:28 at 81. Jesse Brandt, Eddie Northcraft coming up now. Brandt, Tower Side. The Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. 790 his dial in. Taking on Eddie Northcraft. Northcraft with a 767 dial pit side in the Pontiac Ventura. Off and running they go. Good lights for both, but the better one for Brandt. He'll be your winner. 792 on the 790 at 83 miles an hour. Eddie Northcraft with a 769 on the 767. They're both 2 off. Northcraft goes 021 on the tree, pretty good, but Brandt goes 009, even better. Classic Hot Rods coming up on the starting line right now. Both of them made lots of laps down the famed 8th mile here. Max Lang, Max and Patty's 40 Willys Coupe, the Hall of Famer out of Charleston, Illinois with a 644 dial, taking on Mike Spence. When he cranks up the wheelie bar, it's high flying. The 57 Chevy with a 693 dial. Away they go. Lang coming on, but Spence takes the win. 693 with a 4 on the 693. Couple that with a 007 light, 11 thousandths package for the old veteran Mike Spence. For Max Lang, 3 off 647 at 105. Clayton Patrick, Rhonda Myers coming up now. Patrick out of Mattoon, Illinois. He's trying to go 778 in his Camaro. For Rhonda Myers, how about a 657 dial in for the Barracuda? Sportsman buybacks to 7 and 8. Sportsman buybacks to 7 and 8. Sportsman winners to 5 and 6. Sportsman buybacks to 7 and 8. Sportsman winners to 5 and 6. Here comes Myers trying to play catch-up. She gets the job done. 657 with a 5 on the 657. How about this for Clayton? He goes 778 with a 5 on his 778. Reaction time was the difference there, and Rhonda Myers had the better light. This is going to be Brad Talbert. He'll take the single into the next round. Sportsman buybacks 7 and 8. Sportsman winners 5 and 6. And you see it right there for Talbert. As soon as he launched, something lets go in the drivetrain, and he wisely clicks it off and coasts over to the guardrail. So we will check that out and be back with you in just a moment. All right, we are back to action here in motorcycles. Round number 2 coming up for them. Shane Nance Eric Cooper. First pair out. Shane Nance, Tower Side out of Springfield. He's in the JT Muffler lane. He's trying to go 720. His competition dial in is 644. That is Eric Cooper out of Martinsville, Illinois. At the stripe, it's going to be Cooper taking the win as Nance breaks out. He goes 3 under 717 on his 720. Cooper right on the number, 644 with a 3 on the 644 at 106. Looks like coming up now, it's going to be Brian Davis and Kenny Walker. Davis will be on the Tower side of the track. JT Muffler Lane out of Whiteheath, Illinois. 578 is his dial in. Pit side, Cedar City Motors Lane, Ken Walker. Sitting up tall there on his 77 Kawasaki, the runner out of Kansas, Illinois, with a 634 on the wheelie bar. Walker down track. Here comes Davis. Davis gets the win. 581 on the 578. He is 3 off. Walker 5 off. 639 on the 634. So Davis moves on to round 3. Aaron Klein coming up now. Klein, Tower Side, Suzuki GSX 1000R, it says. Alongside Brandon Carell on his 2000 Suzuki 1100S. The Freak out of Shumway, Illinois. The quicker of the two with a 571 dial in. Klein will be getting the head start with a 749. Away they go. Carell's got the better light. Can he make up the ground? Klein breaks out by 12, 737 on the 749. Carell right on the number, 571 with a 5 on the 571. Brandon Carell is your winner. Daniel Johnson coming up now. He's up on the Kawasaki, the green bike Tower Side from Peoria Heights. 614 the dial. For Troy Russell, 602 the number for the runner out of Decatur, Illinois on his Kawasaki. Sportsman cars, you should all be in the lanes. Sportsmen should all be in the lanes for round 2. Advantage Russell as they head down track. Win light for Troy Russell, 607 on the 602. Troy Russell, your winner. Daniel Johnson, 3 under 611 on the 614. So Russell moves on. This will be Chad Isley. He'll get the bye run into round 3. And he takes the green, clicks it off, save the equipment for the next pass.
I don't like to ride their cars. I just like to look at them.
So, Joe Coleman, the Oh Yeah car, out of Pana, Illinois. Still sorting some stuff out with this ride. Bob Cheney chassis, built back in 2000. 377 supercharged small block Chevy power behind the driver. Looks very familiar to me. So here's Joe Coleman on a test pass. .562 at 117 for Joe Coleman. 562 at 117 for Joe Coleman. Here's Tom Jamison, the Wild Thing Racing entry, Urbana, Illinois. That's an 87 IROC Z. 564, the number there on the Lexan window. Alongside the 651 dial for Tommy Harlan. Harlan out of Mattoon, Illinois. His 77 Camaro. Harlan, big time advantage, and he takes the win. 655 on the 651 at 99. Jamison 2 off 566 on the 564. He was slightly closer on the dial-in. Did not matter. Better light by a ton for Tommy Harlan. The Black Magic Dragster, Walt Edwards. Backing into the water box right now. Short burnout for him. See Gerald out there giving a little instruction to his driver. Walt, the Black Magic Dragster, out of Charleston, Illinois. 564 is his dial-in. He'll be chasing down the 77 Kawasaki, piloted by Eric Cooper. Cooper from Martinsville in the Cedar City Motors lane. Good-looking lights for both drivers. Walt Edwards with the wins, 565 on the 564. He is your winner. Cooper 2 off 646 on the 644. An 011 to an 018 light, advantage Edwards, and he'll pick up the round win. It'll be Troy Salazar and Chad Lance coming up next. Chad Lance, the 33 Willys Coupe, Tower Side from Gibson City, Illinois. His dial-in board says 583. The Bad Dog Racing entry pit side of Troy Salazar. He thinks he's going to go 562. Off they go. Again, decent lights for both drivers. Chad Lance for the win. Salazar breaks out. He goes 2 under 560 on his 562. Chad Lance, your winner, 587 on the 583 at 115. Bobby Paul and Chad Isley. Both of them have shared the stage at our winner's banquet as track champions. That's father-in-law and son-in-law right there. Getting set to stage up on the starting line. Bobby Paul, the King Rat himself, with a 740 dial. Chad Isley, 605 the number. Off goes the farm truck. Here comes the bike. Isley had a bunch in the bank off the starting line. He is your winner. 611 on the 605. He is 6 off. How much difference did he have? Bobby Paul ran dead on with a 6 and lost. 740 with a 6 at 92 for Bobby Paul. Coming up now, this is going to be Sportsman. Pro cars. We need pro buybacks to lanes 7 and 8. Pro buybacks, lanes 7 and 8. Pro winners 5 and 6. Pro winners 5 and 6. So pro cars back to the lanes for round 3. Pro buybacks to 7 and 8. Pro winners 5 and 6. Bikes, you can make your way back to the lanes as well. This is Sportsman round 2. First up, this is going to be Scott Pickens. Pickens in the Monte Carlo SS from Marshall, Illinois. His dial-in is an 836. His competition dialed in at 823. That'll be Ron Veach. Veach in the 63 Nova out of Charleston, Illinois. Identically crappy lights for both drivers as they head down track. It'll be Veach for the win, 827 on the 823 at 79. Scott Pickens, 842 on his 836. So Veach moves on to third round action. One of these two will as well. Dan Good, Aaron Inlow. Dan Good with a 950 dial in. Inlow in the pickup truck dialed in at a 1009. Another pair of identical lights. These are much better than the last two. Dan Good, 952 at 72. He is your winner. For Aaron Inlow, 1015 at 66. Katie Beeson and Rodney Matthews. Matthews, the 75 Triumph. Beeson in her 2012 Camaro. Or 13, I'm not sure. Brand new ride for her. She's trying to go 880. He's trying to go 899. Matthews is way down track. Here comes Beeson. Beeson takes the double breakout win. He went 2 under. She went 1 under. Beeson is your winner. 879 on her 880. For Matthews, 897 on the 899. 2 quick for Rodney Matthews. Ron Veach Sr. and Andy Ruff up next. Veach in the Pontiac Solstice. Andy Ruff, the Rumblebee pickup truck. Pro cars back to the lanes. Pro buybacks to 7 and 8. Winners to 5 and 6. Ron Veach Sr. He'll take the win. 861 on the 855 at 80 miles an hour. Andy Ruff, 869 on the 867. Ron Sr. gives the boy a driving lesson with the 022 light. Terry Adams, Clayton Patrick coming up now. Patrick from Mattoon with a 778 dial. Terry Adams with an 862 dial in. Pro cars back to the lanes. Mike Spence, you have the bye run. Clayton Patrick takes the win. Runs the number 778 with a 9 on the 778. Terry Adams one off, 863 on the 862. So Adams one off gets beat by a dead-on Clayton Patrick. Robert Soper, Sarah Cassidy coming up now. Soper, his Camaro Tower side with a 985 dial. Sarah in her red Camaro, she's trying to go 751. So pro buybacks to 7 and 8, pro winners to 5 and 6, motorcycles to lane 9. Red light start for Bob Soper. Sarah also goes red, but Bobby does it first. Sarah with a 754 on the 751 at 90 miles an hour. For Robert Soper, 10 flat on the 985 at 67. So Sarah Cassidy will be back for round 3. Here's your final pair in the Sportsman category. Cassie Edwards-Wilson from Charleston. Her 99 Camaro dialed in at 854. Alongside Leah Othout. Leah with an 879 dial in. So the Black Firebird gets about a half a bulb head start here to finish up round number 2. And the red light gets her. Leah Othout with the red light start. Cassie Edwards-Wilson will move on to round 3 action. She gets the automatic win, 850 on her 854 at 83 miles an hour. For Leah Othout, 879. 879 at 78. Third round coming up. This is an elimination round. Two go down, one comes back for the rest of the day here, as these are elimination rounds from here on out. Miles Blakely, 78 Malibu, the People's Performance car. Out of Urbana, Illinois, 685 is his dial-in. Taking on Matt Duvall, 826. 826 for Duvall, 685 for Miles Blakely. And Duvall's day is done as he goes red here in round 3. Blakely clicks it off early. He'll coast through to an 817. 817 at 61 for Duvall. Red light start 817 at 81 miles per hour. Ron Veach and Max Lang, your next pair. Lang, Tower Side, JT Muffler Lane. Max and Patty's 40 Willys Coupe with a 645 dial in, taking on Ron Veach. Veach over there pit side. Cedar City Motors Lane with an 823 dial. Veach down track. Here comes Lang. Can he play catch up? No. Veach holds him off for the win. 826 on the 823. He's 3 off. Lang 1 off. 646 on his 645. That race won right here on the starting line for Ron Veach. Clayton Patrick and Tom Harlan coming up next. Patrick, his Z28 Tower Side, takes on Tommy Harlan, the Hitman, pit side in his Camaro. Patrick's lucky number 777. Harlan trying to go 651. Super Pro, back to the lanes, please.
80. He timed out.
So, for Tom Harlan, out the back door he goes, 655 on the 651. Clayton Patrick timed out, did not get in the beams within the 10 seconds.
I was watching it, like right as I looked at it, he timed out.
So the timeout for Clayton Patrick, tough break for him. Harlan gets to advance to 4th round action. We are on auto start here at Coles County, and there is a 10-second timer. And he didn't make it in within the 10 seconds. So tough break for Clayton Patrick. So Jesse Brandt, Rhonda Myers will be up next. Jesse Jesse Brandt from Mattoon, Illinois with a 790 dial in. Rhonda Myers, she's trying to go 657 in her Barracuda. Attention, last call for the snack bar. Last call for the snack bar. Want to grab something to eat before you head out the front gate? Snack bar will be closing in just a little bit. This is your last call. Jesse Brandt, red light, start. 499 with a 9. Oh, so close. Red light. Rhonda Myers picks up the win. 655 on her 657. Jesse Brandt, red light start, 792 at 83. Super Pro back to the lanes, winners and buybacks. Here's Cassie Edwards-Wilson and Eddie Northcraft. Cassie in the familiar 99 Camaro. Eddie in that 75 Pontiac Ventura. Kind of a rare piece out there on the starting line. Cassie with an 852 dial. Northcraft 771. Super Pro winners and buybacks, you should be in the lanes. Cassie is down track. Here comes Eddie Northcraft. Win light says Cassie Edwards-Wilson 855 on her 852. She had a better light. Northcraft off pace 778 on the 771 at 84. Sportsman buybacks to 7 and 8. Sportsman buybacks to 7 and 8. Sportsman winners to 5 and 6. Terry Willard and Travis East coming up now. Willard in the Camaro. Travis East, the 88 Mustang. Sportsman buybacks 7 and 8. Sportsman winners 5 and 6. Willard with a stellar 004 light. But Travis East takes the win. 819 on the 817 at 81. Willard has the light but goes 6 off 731 on his 725. Kim Niemeyer, Daniel Johnson coming up now. Niemeyer, the white Mustang. That's a 97 Mustang. He's in the JT Muffler lane. He comes from Humboldt. He's trying to go 653. His competition, Daniel Johnson. Peoria Heights, Illinois, the home base for the rider of the Kawasaki in the Cedar City Motors lane. His number is 611. Sportsman cars back to the lanes. Sportsman back to the lanes. Finish line says, I didn't see the red light for Daniel Johnson. Kim Niemeyer gets the automatic win, 654 on his 653. He is your winner. Johnson would have broke out anyway, 606, 5 under on the 611 dial. Sportsman buybacks to 7 and 8. Sportsman winners to 5 and 6. Here's Mike Spence. Spence in the 57. You want to buy a real race car, this one is for sale. 692 the dial in. Don't see Mike out here a lot, but when he does, he's tough. 696 on his 692. 96 for the speed for Mike Spence. Well, how about this matchup here in round number 3? It's going to be Eric Cooper and Chad Isley. Cooper on his 79 Kawasaki. He is from Martinsville. 645 is his dial-in. Chad Isley, pit side. His dial-in board says 605 for the runner out of Charleston. Side by side at the stripe, Isley for the win, 608 on the 605 at 107. Just a touch better on the light for Isley. Cooper goes 2 off 647 on his 645. Margin of victory, 0.005 of a second. Aaron Klein, Ken Walker coming up now. Klein from Mattoon, Illinois. His dial-in is 7:34. For Kenny Walker, he hails from Kansas. He's trying to go 6:38. The Kawasaki pit side will give up the head start to Aaron Klein. Our starter out there reminding our competitors we do observe courtesy staging here. So both racers must be pre-staged before one stages. Klein down track. Here comes Walker. Kenny Walker for the win. Klein breaks out. He goes way under 7:23 on his 7:34. Kenny Walker 6:43 on the 6:38. He'll pick up the win. Here's Shane Nance and Brandon Carell. Nance at the controls of the 96 Honda 900. He is from Springfield, and he thinks he's going to go 7:10. His competition, the Freak pit side, that's Brandon Carell with a 5:71 dial-in. Here comes Carell, hugging the center line, sits up on the bike, and takes the win. Carell 5:91 on the 5:71 at 1:02. He'd already passed Nance by about 500 feet. Nance with a 7:55 at 88. Daniel Johnson and Troy Russell will be coming at you now. Johnson, the Kawasaki out of Peoria Heights. And he's planning on a 6:11. 6:04 the dial-in for Troy Russell. Russell, the runner out of Decatur, Illinois, on his 94 Kawasaki. Russell way down track. Coasts across 6:12 at 1:02. For Johnson, 6:17 at 1:13. Russell picks up the win. Byrun coming up here for Brian Davis. Davis out of White Heath, Illinois. Computer says it's a Hayabusa. Dial-in board says it's a 5:78. Dancing all the way down the track. 5:72. 5:72 on his 5:78 at 1:17. This is round 3 of Super Pro. Coming at you right now, an elimination round coming up. So burnout's complete for both drivers. We'll start out with Tom Jamison. Jamison from Urbana, Illinois. He's in the 87 IROC Z Camaro tower side. And the dial-in on the JT Muffler side of the track is a 5:64. In the Cedar City Motors lane, 5:58 the number for Troy Salazar, Shelbyville, Illinois. The Bad Dog Racing dragster over there. Red light start for Jamison, gets out of the groove, clicks it off. Salazar will advance to round 4. Salazar 5:61, 5:61 at 1:23. For Jamison, after the launch, he coasts on through to a 7:06 at 69. Pulling up now, Tower Side, Walt Edwards, Charleston, Illinois. The black Magic car with a 564 dial in. He'll be chasing down Chad Lance. Lance in the 33 Willies. Not much of a chase. Red light start for Lance. Walt Edwards gets to move on to the next round. 563 with an 8 on the 564. 2000's too quick, but it doesn't matter. Red light start for Lance. 589 at 115. Coming up now, this is going to be Eric Cooper and Bobby Paul. Cooper, the 77 Kawasaki. 647 the dial-in. Taking on Bobby Paul, the King Rat, head of the Eastern Illinois Rat Racers. 740 is his number. The farm truck off and running. Here comes the bike. And the bike misses a shift. Bobby Paul takes the win. Would have been tough to beat. Dead on 740 with a 7 on the 740. I'm sure he thought that motorcycle was coming. For Eric Cooper, sits up on the bike 779 at 53. And you heard right there, he could not make the shift at about 300 feet out. Coming up next, out of the water box, the Camaro. This is Tommy Harlan. The Hitman will hang him high in the 77 Camaro. 654 will be his dial-in. He'll be taking on Chad Isley. The number is 605 over there for the runner out of Charleston, Illinois, up on his Kawasaki. Harlan goes red again, 004 red. Isley, 603 breakout win. Harlan red light start, but runs the number dead on with a 7. 654 with a 7 at 102. Back to action now with the Sportsman cars. It's going to be Robert Soper and Andy Ruff. Soper in the Camaro. Tower Side, 995 his number. For Andy Ruff, the Rumblebee pickup truck out of Hinesboro, Illinois, with an 868 dial. Away they go. At the stripe, it's going to be Andy Ruff. He had the better light. Soper breaks out, trying to hold him off. 993 on the 995. Andy Ruff with an 874 at 76. Here's Terry Adams. Adams from Westfield, Illinois, 865 the dial in on the Pontiac. Aaron Enlow with a 1012 dial. Enlow goes red. Adams gets the automatic win. Down track they go. And for Terry Adams, it's an 867. 867 on the 865 at 79. Aaron Enlow, 1004 on his 1012. And the red light here in round 3. Ron Veach Sr. and Sarah Cassidy coming up next. Veach, Charleston, Illinois, the home base for the Pontiac Solstice. 860 the dial-in. For Sarah Cassidy, the dancing machine, getting her groove on over there in the Cedar City Motors lane with a 752 dial. Not to be for Sarah Cassidy. She goes red. It'll be Ron Veach Sr. back for another round. 856 on his 860. Time pass for him. For Sarah Cassidy, red light start, 752 at 90 miles an hour. Here's Dan Good and Katie Beeson. Good in the Corvette, Katie B in her Camaro. She's trying to go 880. He's trying to go 950. Katie Beeson off and running, trying to catch him, and she does. Katie Beeson with an 884 on the 880 at 80 miles an hour for Dan Good, 955 on the 950. Katie B had the better light by just a little bit, and she will be your winner. Clayton Patrick and Ron Veach coming up now. Patrick with a 777 dial in on his Camaro. Veach with an 825 on the Nova wagon. Clayton with the red light start. Ron Veach going to pick up some Buffalo Wild Wings as he goes perfect on the tree. 821 on his 825, but he has a perfect light. So a coupon for 5 free Buffalo Wings from Buffalo Wild Wings in the Mattoon Marketplace. Patrick's day is done with a 779 at 86. It's going to be Cassie Edwards-Wilson taking the bye run into the next round. We need pro winners. Pro winners back to the lanes 5 and 6.
You're looking for 8 and 4 Super Pros.
Cassie with an 852 on her windshield.
Rhonda Myers.
So let's just make it easy for you. All winners in all classes back to the lanes. All winners in all classes back to the lanes. 851 on her 852 for Cassie as she moves on to 4th round action. Time run, no, this is Leah Othout and Scott Pickens coming up. Is this a time run or is
No,
it?
last pair.
This is your last pair. Leah with an 880. Scott Pickens with an 836. Final pair here in Sportsman. All winners in all classes back to the lanes. At the finish line, Scott Pickens has the win as Leah went red. She went 891 on her 880. She had the red light start for Scott Pickens, 844 on the 836 at 79. Time pass coming up here for the Monte Carlo test and tune. Matt Dowell had been driving the car today. Looks like maybe somebody else is in the car right now. All winners, all classes, back to the lanes. All winners in all classes, back to the lanes. If you win your round, return to the lanes to cool. $920 at 71 miles per hour. High gear only 601 at 111. Or maybe that was low gear only. 601 at 111 for Joe Coleman. This is the pro category coming up. 4th round action for them. Mike Spence, Tom Harlan. 4th round action coming at you now. Spence from Humboldt, Illinois in his 57 Chevy. Harlan from Mattoon with a 654 dial in his 77 Camaro. 693 the dial in for Spence. He'll get the head start. Clean and green as they head down track. Harlan Stellar 003 on the tree. He'll take the win. Spence breaks out 685 on the 693. Big time breakout for him. Harlan safe by 1, 655 on his 654, plus a 003 light for Tommy Harlan. Kim Niemeyer, Travis East coming up now. Niemeyer from Humboldt, Illinois with a 655 dial. East from Casey with an 818 dial. So it'll be a Mustang moving on into the next round. Which one will it be? It's going to be Travis East. East, your winner, 821 on his 818 dial, 82 for the speed. Travis East for the win. For Niemeyer, his day is done with a 2-off 657 on the 655 at 104. Again, all winners in all classes, you should be back in the lanes. And if you win this round, return to the lanes to cool. So Petey's got the rocks cleaned up there on the starting line. And you hear the burnouts underway for Miles Blakely and Rhonda Myers. Of course, we want to say hi to Rhonda's mom. She is here today, 80 years young, enjoying the racing action. Rhonda from Ramsey, Illinois, pit side with a 654 dial in. Her Barracuda against Miles Blakely. He's trying to go 685. Must have had some trouble. He clicks it off early. Rhonda steps out of the throttle 680 on her 654. She's your winner for Blakely, coasting to an 824 at 62. So Myers gets to come back and play for another round. Cassie Edwards-Wilson and Ron Veach wait in the water box right now. You can always check us out online if you want to keep up to date on what's going on here at the Famed 8th Mile. News and notes, race results, point standings, sponsor information, anything and everything about your home track. Available online at www.colescountydragway.com or ccdragway.com. You can also keep up on your smartphone. CCD Link still available. It's for free. You can load it on your iPhone or Android device and have all you need to know about the Famed 8th Mile right there in the palm of your hand. Cassie Edwards-Wilson and Ron Veach. Cassie with an 852 dial, Veach with an 821 dial. Away they go. Cassie down track. Here is Veach. Veach has the better light, but Cassie gets the win. 855 on her 852. She's 3 off. Veach is 6 off, 827 on the 821. He had the light, but can't run the number. Motorcycles coming up now. Chad Isley and Brandon Carell. Isley from Charleston, Illinois with a 605 dial. Carell pit side from Shumway, 572 his number. Finish line says it's Chad Isley for the win. 605 with a 2 on the 605. Carell goes 572 with a 3 on his 572. Both bikes run the number. Better light for Chad Isley. Ken Walker. Brian Davis up next. Davis, tower side of the track. Whiteheath, Illinois, 572 the dial. For Kenny Walker, he runs out of Kansas, Illinois. Kawasaki for him, 638 is his dial in. He'll get the head start pit side. And the red light start there for Kenny Walker. Brian Davis picks up the win. It would have been a double breakout. 570 at 118 for Brian Davis. Kenny Walker, 637 at 108. Bye run for Troy Russell. Coming up now, Troy out of Decatur, Illinois. His Kawasaki dial in at 605. Looking for the best traction there before he pulls into the beams. Troy, 003 on the tree, 606. 606 on the 605, and a 003 light there for Troy Russell. Eric Cooper. Cooper will pull up into the beams now. This is a time run for Eric Cooper. Little personal adjustment there for Mr. Cooper. Cooper, 009 on the tree, 648. 648 at 106 for Eric Cooper. The Black Magic Dragster will be first up. J.T. Muffler Lane for Walt Edwards, Charleston, Illinois. His sponsor is his business, Cedar City Motors, 563 the dial in. Bobby Paul in the Cedar City Motors lane. Walt charging hard. Can he catch him at the stripe? Yes, he does. 564 on the 563 for Walt Edwards. He'll move on to the final for Bobby Paul. 3 off 742 on the 739 at 92. Better package put together there for Walt Edwards. So will it be an all dragster final? Could be. Troy Salazar. He'll see if he can make his way into the final round. Salazar in the Bad Dog Racing entry. Salazar moves over to the tower side. He hasn't run this lane all day long. Chad Isley has lane choice, so he moved him over. 560 the dial in. 560 the dial in for Troy Salazar. 605 for Isley. Isley is the slower one, but because he carried the bye, he also retained lane choice. Well, Salazar went 018 on the tree. He was late, but he gets the win. Isley breaks out. He goes 2 under 603 on the 605. Troy Salazar for the win. 561 on the 560. So it'll be a dragster final. Troy Salazar and Walt Edwards. Time pass coming up here for Tom Jameson. Jameson in the Camaro.
Pro semis, Chad Isley and Bobby Paul.
Again, all winners in all classes back to the lanes. So a little move to the left once again for Jameson, and he'll click it off. 781 at 70 miles per hour. All right, time for the Sportsman cars. Once again, if you're still in competition, we need you back to the lanes. All winners, we need you now back to the lanes. This is Ron Veach Sr. and Terry Adams. Veach from Charleston is Pontiac Solstice with an 858. I think that's the number he's been running all day long. Terry Adams from Westfield is 869 dial in. Green light starts for both racers. Veach for the win as Adams breaks out. He goes 6 under, 863 on the 869. Ron Veach Sr., 859, one off on his 858 at 80 miles per hour. Scott Pickens and Katie Beeson will be next up. Pickens from Marshall, Illinois, 842 is his dial in. For Katie B, she's trying to go 880 in her new ride, the Camaro.
Walt Edwards has lane to it.
Another pair of clean and green as they head down track. Advantage to the Camaro. She taps the brakes, takes the win. Pickens breaks out. 840 on the 842, 2 under for Pickens. Katie Beeson with an 882 on her 880 at 79 miles an hour. Cassie Edwards Wilson and Ron Veach Jr. coming up next. Cassie trying to go 855 in her Camaro. For Ron Veach, 825 the number there on the Nova wagon. All winners, all classes, back to the lanes. We need you now. All winners, all classes, back to the lanes. We need you now. Well, you see Ron Veach already ahead of Cassie. 830 on the 825 for Veach, not good enough. Cassie goes 856 on the 855. Veach had the light by a bunch, but Cassie runs closer to the number and wins. Andy Ruff off and running on his bye. He had an 871 on the window. He goes 877. 877 at 76. A little bit better that time around. How about a 989? 989 at 79. Tom Jameson sorting out some stuff there on the Camaro. Had a couple of passes where the car hooked to the left. So we'll see what's going on here for Mr. Jameson. Again, just a little bit of a move to the left, but a better pass this time around. 562. 562 at 121 for Tom Jameson. So the first half of the semifinal round here, it's going to be Travis East, KZ, Illinois, the Beast, with an 821 dial. His 88 Mustang pairs up alongside the 77 Camaro of Tommy Harlan, the Hitman, pit side. 654 is his dial. Harlan found the tree this time around, 005 for him. He makes it count. He'll be back for the final. 654 with a 7 on the 654. That's a 12,000s package for Tommy Harlan. For East, semifinal effort. How about this? Dialed an 821, goes 821 with a 1. He had a pretty good light, but Harlan's 05 will take him out. Pair of ladies coming up to the starting line right now. One of them will move on to the final. Cassie Edwards Wilson or Rhonda Myers. Cassie with an 857 dial in. Myers 654. Cassie went 023 on the tree, but Myers 003. Rhonda Myers will move on to the final round, 670 on her 654. Pushed Cassie out the door. She breaks out by 2. She took the stripe, broke out by 2, 855 on her 857 at 81 miles an hour. So it'll be Rhonda Myers and Tom Harlan in the final. Motorcycles, they'll be up next. 3 bikes left, so this is the semifinals for them. One of these two will get a line up alongside Troy Russell in the final. Brian Davis or Chad Isley. Davis Tower side from Whiteheath, Illinois. His Hayabusa dialed in a 570. Chad Isley, he's trying to go 604. So the bike in the pit lane gets to go first. Good looking pass for both riders. They're looking at each other, and they look up and see Brian Davis's win light come on. 575 at 116 For your winner, Brian Davis. For Chad Isley, he's 6 off, 6:10 on the 6:04. They were virtually identical off the starting line, an 0:15 to an 0:16. Davis runs closer to the dial, and he'll be in the final round to take on Troy Russell. Russell coming out of the water box right now. Sean giving him guidance there to get lined up in the stickiest spot. He's got a 6:05 on the wheelie bar. See how close he comes to it. So 003 red this time around. 6:08. 6:08 at 1:13 for Troy Russell. Now it's time for the Super Pro Final. Dragsters a pair coming around the bend to make up your final round here in Super Pro. So here's how the matchup sets up for you. The Black Magic Dragster, Tower Side. This is going to be Walt Edwards, Charleston, Illinois. JT Muffler Lane, 563 the dial in. Taking on the 560 dial of the Bad Dog Racing entry from Shelbyville, Troy Salazar. Too close to see off the starting line. That's all over at the start. Salazar goes red. Walt Edwards picks up the winner's circle money today with a dead on 563 with an 8 on the 563 plus a 008 light, 16 thou package. For your winner, Walt Edwards. Troy Salazar clicks it off early, goes through to an 807. Semifinals coming up here in the Sportsman category, as it's going to be Ron Veach Sr. and Katie Beeson. Ron Sr. Tower Side, Pontiac Solstice, 858 the dial in. That's the little red car. That gunmetal gray car over there pit side, that is Katie Beeson. Katie B coming up for the week, lives in Florida now. 880 her dial in.
My favorite color. Gunmetal gray.
That's a gorgeous car.
Love that color.
Away they go. Veach on the brakes early. He had a bunch of room, and he makes it pay. 859 on the 858. Good thing he was on the brakes, because Katie B, she loses the round but runs dead on with an O. 880 with an O on the 880. That race won on the starting line for Ron Veach Sr. So Ron Sr. will move to the final round to take on either Cassie Edwards-Wilson or Andy Ruff. Ruff will back up the Rumblebee pickup truck. Cassie will pull in. She is staged and ready. Quick stage for her. And Ruff might have been a little rattled by the situation. He goes red, so Cassie Edwards-Wilson will advance to the final round to take on Ron Veach Sr. Cassie Edwards-Wilson with an 8.54 on her 8.57. Andy Ruff, 8.71 on the 8.77. Win light for Cassie Edwards-Wilson. So it's time for the pro final round coming up. Rhonda's mom coming out today to watch the race, and will she get rewarded with a win? Rosa May here to cheer on her daughter, and here she is in the final round. So will it be a happy anniversary for Tom and Dawn? Or will Rosa May's daughter give her a win sticker? One of the two will happen. Tom Harlan out of Mattoon, Illinois, 6.54 the dial-in, taking on Rhonda Myers from Ramsey, Illinois. 6.64 the dial-in over there. Wheels up start for Harlan. He's got the advantage, and he'll take home the winner's money here today as Rhonda Myers breaks out. She goes 4 under 6.60 on her 6.64. Tommy Harlan 6.55 on the 6.54. He had an 0.13 light, and he will pick up the winner's sticker here today in the pro category. Well, you see Walt Edwards over there in the O'Reilly Auto Parts winner's circle getting his picture taken to commemorate his win here today in the Super Pro category. You'll see all of our winners online at our website, colescountydragwayusa.com or ccdragway.com. Both of them get you to the same page. So congratulations to Walt Edwards. So the Duvall car coming back up here for another time pass. That's a little more like it. 907, 907. At 80 miles per hour. Sportsman final coming up now. It's going to be Ron Veach Sr. and Cassie Edwards-Wilson. Your final round pairing. JT Muffler Lane, Tower Side, that's going to be Ron Veach Sr., the Pontiac Solstice out of Charleston, Illinois. He's in the JT Muffler Lane. He's trying to go 8.58. His competition in the Cedar City Motors lane, sponsored by Cedar City Motors, that's Cassie Edwards-Wilson. Her 99 Camaro dialed in at 8.56. 200ths difference on the tree. You won't even really notice it as the tree counts down. Away they go. Win light's going to flash for Cassie Edwards-Wilson. She's your winner. Just a touch better on the starting line. She goes 8.58 on her 8.56. She is 2 off. Veach goes 4 off 8.62 on the 58 for him. So congratulations to Cassie Edwards-Wilson. She is your winner, gets to join Dad in the winner's circle here today. Ron Veach Sr., your runner-up here today in Sportsman. Your final of the night coming up. It's in motorcycle. So your bike matchup here in the final round will be Brian Davis. Davis from Whiteheath, Illinois, with a 574 dial-in. He'll be chasing down Troy Russell. Russell pit side. He's been on the pit side all day long. 607 the dial-in there for the runner out of Decatur, Illinois. Suzuki versus Kawasaki here in the final round in motorcycle. Tough break for Brian Davis as he lurched at the starting line. Troy Russell will get the win. 6:06 on the 6:07. Troy Russell. Brian Davis, no time for him because he launched before the tree was activated. Tough break for Brian Davis. Congratulations to Troy Russell and to all of our winners here today. Thanks for coming out. On behalf of Rod and Donna, the entire crew here at Coles County Dragway, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us here today.